Hey, I'm back programming again on Natalie, my compiler. Today, I thought I'd do hopefully a short video on arrays. So we got exceptions now. We can rescue exceptions. So it'd be kind of cool if we could manually raise an exception. And so in Ruby, you can do it with a string, and it gives you a runtime error, or you can raise your own error class. Which can literally be anything. So I could even just raise foo, right? No, that's not true. It has to actually be an error. So it could be a standard error, which I think is pretty typical. Yeah, I didn't like that. We'll make that foo2. Raise foo2. I can give it a message, or I can do .new and pass in the message. So lots of different ways to do it. I think we'll focus on where you can raise an exception and optionally pass in the message as a second argument. So we're going to focus on this one and this one, just to keep things short and simple and not to drag it out too long. And today I'm using VS Code. I've used it a little bit, so I'm not totally unfamiliar with it, but it's not my main editor. I usually use Vim, but I thought I'd give it a try. So let's see. Test. We'll start with the parser test. And let's see, does it even need to be parsed differently? Not really. So maybe we don't even need to parse it differently. So what if we just do method raise? It is a method on main. Who's the owner of it? Kernel is the owner of it. Cool, so we don't need to parse it. We just need to add it to kernel. Well, even better. Source and kernel C. Raise, and we're going to expect either either 1 or 2 args. So we're going to say 1 comma 2 here, and we'll do class is arg0, and message is arg1. Let's think about this for a second. Only if I'm just going to get rid of all of that. How do we want to do this? Because we need to support different things. Let's go ahead and support the string one too. So we could do that, or my exception foo. I'll say message here. Or we can do this. So let's just do the simplest thing that can work. Arg count is 2, then I expect it to always be like this, right? Arg0, args1, else if arg count is 1, which I could just make this an else, but I'll be explicit. We'll just call this arg. If arg type is nat value class, then we're going to do something, right? I'm curious about is if I do raise standard error, how can I get that? Raise rescue end. Okay, so the exception, that message is just the class name. So it always has a message. So in this case, message is going to be the arg class name. I do like that autocomplete. Oh, tab 9 semantic. I'll see if that helps. Ah, that's pretty cool. Tab 9 was unable. Yeah, I should have done this before the video. I got to install this junk. Yeah, okay. I'll work on it later. Class name. If it's a string, then actually let's always have a class and always have a message object. Just make these things a little simpler. This is an arg. Okay, so the message is the class name and the class is the arg. This is a nat string env. Cool. So that's if the first one's a class. If there's only one argument. First one's a class. We're going to do that. If the only argument is a string, then the class is env get, env runtime error, which I don't think we have yet. And the message is the arg. And then last, nat raise. And I really wish I had my auto completion. That was the whole point of doing this, but that's okay. I'm going to open Natalie H and look at this. So env class message format. If I raise a 1 type error, it's going to look like that. Oh no, I think this is just a string. Type error. Perfect. No format arguments. Cool. What have I done here? Go away. What is that? Go away. Just make sure not raise. Yeah, it calls abort, right? Cool. Abort message. So all that to get down to here, say env just realized something. This nat raise takes a string. I think I need to change that. Okay, we'll come back and do it. So for now, we're not going to honor the thing. We're going to do standard error. And we're going to say message. And we're going to put a fix me pass in class. So it's going to call abort, so it shouldn't matter the return type. Okay. Let's see what we can make happen with that. Kernel get down to the kernel, which is here. We're going to call raise here, raise here. Okay, now we need some example code to run, and I think we have rescue here. That'll work. Yeah. So let's just say that we do raise foo. This should say foo. Maybe. Make not raise, not kernel line 117. Kernel C line 117 does not like, oh, yeah, install. Maybe that's all I needed. Cool. Now do I get semantic stuff? No, of course not. Yeah, still doesn't work. Nat raise, what are you complaining about? Nat raise, env class message expands to nat raise, abort, executive expression. Well, I don't know. Oh, the comma. You don't like it, the comma. Interesting. I got a problem with my macro. I'm not the best at doing macros. Let's just figure that out. VA args and comma. Macro VA args comma. I remember reading something about that. Caesar says at least one argument must be passed to the ellipsis to ensure the macro doesn't result in an expression with a trailing comma. Traditional, oh. Okay, I did see there's a GNU extension, which apparently also works in Clang. If you put these pound signs, it will gobble up any extra. Like if you have a 0 length list of arguments, then it will erase that comma for you, get rid of the comma. I'll look into that some more later, but it seems to work for now. I was able to compile, at least got past that part. Didn't like this on line 120, which I think I can fix pretty easily, because this is supposed to be an actual just character array, string. Make, and then Natalie examples, rescue, rescue. And we'll get to see what happens here. Oh, wow. Look at that, standard error foo. Cool, cool. Yeah, so is that what I expected? Raise foo as a string should get into this branch. It's not going to go in this one, it's going to go in this branch. The class, oh, right, because I'm doing the string. Okay, cool. Yeah, so working as expected so far. So now I need to fix something. That's going to be kind of painful. Not horrible. This needs to be an actual object, not a string. So this nat raise argument error. I guess I'm just going to change this to env argument error, env get, like that, and do the same thing here. rather than relying on too much magic, just make it a little simpler. This is a nat object, and I think that's it. So now over in Natalie C, you need to do the same thing. This is going to be env get. Yeah, I wish I'd have done a find and replace now. It's not too late, Tim. It's not too late. Okay, there we go. Nat object class, and then class. Nat exception is a class also. Nat exception, this needs to be a nat object. And then we don't want to do an env get here. Just want to use it as is. Yeah. Natalie H. Nat exception. Oops. Okay, so hopefully nothing broke. Oh, everything broke. Oh, because we're passing in. That's right. That's right. Net kernel C. So this needs to be env get env. And this needs to be the class. And I'm going to make clean just to make sure I've learned my lesson. Segmentation fault, which I don't think I even need to know, go look that up. I think the problem is I don't have a runtime error. I think I'm looking up something that's returning null. It's so laggy when I move my cursor. That's why I keep going back to Vim. Runtime error, what does it belong to? Runtime error, super class is standard error. Cool. So it's just going to be just like argument error. It's going to be runtime error. Runtime error. Cool. So maybe, oops. Sweet. Awesome, awesome. Okay, cool. So let's go back to this. We're going to say raise standard error foo. And we want that to work with and without the string. Runtime error foo, because it's usually a runtime, by default it's a runtime error, standard error, standard error, standard error foo. Awesome. And then let's make our own class. My exception. How do I say this is a Ruby file? Configure file association for Ruby. Ooh, nice. I was gonna say this is a standard error. And then we're gonna do this. Say my exception. Bar, just to be different. Okay, moment of truth. Hey, that was pretty easy. Not too bad at all. Cool. Let's see. Let's just see what we did here. Wrote a bunch of code to test stuff. Added a new raise method in the kernel module. Have it only expecting, I'll write it to do there because it's not completely done, right? To do support exception instance, e.g. raise my exception.new foo. Cool. Now we got a note for that. And that was just some plain old C code, nothing too crazy. Had to refactor a few things. The trickiest part maybe was this variadic arguments. Is that what it's called? Variadic arguments and macros. I still don't know if this is portable. It obviously works in Clang, and I read that this came from GCC. So those are the two compilers I really care about right now. This should be easily fixed down the road if it's not portable to some other compiler. I'm sure there's a way around this. So I'm just gonna go with it, and that's it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.